How to make security simple. This is sponsored by Sophos Technologies. The Security Forum Knowledge Partner is Ernst & Young. Our keynote speaker for this session is Mr. Sunil Sharma, Vice President Sales, Sophos. Sunil Sharma joined Sophos in 2015 as Vice President Sales for India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Maldives. He is responsible for the company's regional sales and channel organization. Sophos acquired India's prominent network security company CyberRoam, where Sunil was responsible for the entire sales and operations for these regions since 2011. His in-depth understanding of sales channels like system integrators, value-added resellers, distributors, retailers, and OEMs had helped grow the CyberRoam business by 500%. He also grew the channel base from 330 to 2,500 plus partners across India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite on stage Mr. Sunil Sharma, may I request you all to please take your seats. May I request everybody to take their seats so that we could begin with our next session. May I request everyone to please take your seats. We need to move ahead because we have two keynotes after this. I'm sure the last panel discussion has got everyone really excited, and everyone knows, and rather everyone is very eager to know how to secure yourselves. But please be seated so that we could get your security made simple. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Sunil Sharma. Please put your hands together for Mr. Sunil Sharma.
Very much for such a lovely audience. I was very, honored to be part of the last discussion. I was part of the entire discussion, I think, and what a discussion which we had. And CIOs, vendors talking about as to what's the next step? What is that which we are supposed to be doing? What is that which we are supposed to be taking to the board? What is that which we should be talking to the board? How do we get the board involved in such kind of discussions? And how do we convince the board to invest money? I think that's the nutshell result which we were looking from that discussion. How do we convince? In today's world where starting from the owners who have never ever heard about, first of all, digitization for them was in terms of evolution of IT industry. They first started seeing, if you look at all the board members, I'm talking about, let's say, for example, consumer industry, where you have board members who have been like the owners, are the board members who founded this company, let's say some 50 years back, 60 years back, 40 years back. So those are the kind of board members, and when you go and talk to them about cybersecurity, it is definitely for them not easy, digestible kind of situation. And that's where I think I was really like the comment of Partha that we need to have somebody on a board as a security advisor, which was a real stuff. Okay, thank you. So my time starts now. Everyone is talking about security, and everyone is talking about that I give you enterprise class security, I give you commercial grade security, I give you this, I give you that. But in nutshell, security is becoming really complex. Really complex for the end users. Complexity is growing for the CIOs and CISOs. Very few companies, although now we are started having CISOs, but still I would like to see maximum companies going in the route of having at least a CISO first, what to talk about the board, advisor, board member advisor. So I think we are still growing and we are moving towards it. I am really thankful for all that discussion because they have really set the platform for me to talk about how do you make secure. I mean, Sophos, first of all, this company is a firm believer that whatever product or whatever solution or the architecture which we are going to talk about to our customers, I think we should be talking about making that simple to them. In terms of understanding, in terms of, for them to implement and deploy, I think I still remember 7-8 years ago when I used to work for the last company and we sold the encryption solution to one of the company. And there the CIO, and after 2 months after selling that and it was kind of sold and given, but CIO was still, harping upon just one statement, Sunil, is it possible for us to deploy in an easy manner? Because the moment I start deploying these encryption solutions, I think nothing works, man. So it is very important that today, whatever we sell, we make it simple for the end users and for the customers. There is not much to talk about what kind of top security trends, because my earlier discussion which we had, panel discussion, I think they have almost covered it all. Whether you talk about the mobility, the cloud, the CASB, you name it. CASB is Cloud Access Security Brokers, which primarily mediate for the 16,000 cloud services. So, and IoT, 20 billion devices by 2020. I firmly believe with the demonetization now, I mean the way it's happening, because that's the buzzword which I have been hearing starting on 8th night, okay? And it is bringing more and more complexity. It is going to cashless, but at what? You have to click. More clicks means what? You need to have more security. You should be well aware of actually what you are clicking at. And when you are clicking something, and that to a finance transaction, believe me, earlier thieves were outside the gates of banks, but now they have to be outside the gate, your gateways, How do they can hack millions and millions of dollars? And cybercrime is a big business. I'm just going to talk about some figures as to how this is happening. So I thought of including this. I said, man, this is also one of the, most favorite agenda of the people today. Ransomware, just one crypto is kind of earned for cyber criminals $325 million. I mean, that's not even the revenue of most of the companies. Most of the companies. Just one that earned this much. Then after that, you have various kind of variants available, like whether Locky, now the new variant which is available is Zepto, is what, is coming. And there are so many. People are saying, I'm secure. I think last Partho was talking about JP Morgan, and I was like, JP Morgan, the security budget. Can somebody answer me what is the security, approximate, security budget for them, for their company? Any idea? No, I'm saying how many million US dollar would be the security budget? 10 million. Huh? 600, yeah. That's the 500 to 600 million. Is it just a security budget? And Partho talked about 2014, the number of, kind of what they lost. And then somebody was talking about it is 99% and 100%. Every company depending upon the size, the domain which it belongs to, the kind of services it provides, they have certain kind of balance sheet, which means there is a business plan. And when you have a business plan, you have a budget also, which you allocate. Because the moment you go beyond a budget, the viability of that business will not allow you to spend more. And hence, one has to deal within that kind of budget. You can go little extra, but then you have to justify and cut somewhere else. So like today, security expenses, I think somebody was talking about earlier in the discussion. It is how much would be the total. Whenever we go for a large project, we were there part of one of the large projects in Bihar. And how much is that percentage of the total? You'll be surprised. It is like 1.5%, 2%, 3%. Maximum you go up to in security just 5%. Why? Because of people think that first they have to create infrastructure. Once they create the basic, because in India you have different kind of, class A, class B, class C cities. And similarly the kind of companies which you have. Enterprise, like if you have ITC, then there are different problems and different kind of challenges and different kind of, acquisitions. But when you go for mid-market or a SMB, then you have different kind of class B and class A. They are first looking at infrastructure to be placed. So that's where the budget is going. And for security, they say no, small budget. But I think now things are opening up. With the demonetization, I would say that I think things are going to improve. People will understand that when they are clicking Paytm on their mobile phone, if at all that somebody is hacking that, I think what kind of information is going to go away from their mobile phone. Malvertising, I'm not going to cover up too much on this because everyone is aware that the way, you can just go to Google and with few dollars, you can have the malwares available and you yourself can target certain sites, websites or whatever you want to target. I think it is easily available in today's scenario. Which means, what is the point which I'm trying to drive? I'm trying to drive that if something like this is easily available, I think we as consumers, we as users, I think we also need to be also take precautionary measures and we have to be preventive. Rather than looking at, I think Anil talked about that, which is very, very good. And unless we go in that direction, it's not possible that, okay, this attack has happened, now let's talk about it. And something else has happened, let's talk. The damage has been done, man. So I think we have to be proactive. Phishing, and I'm just giving you little education because information security, my personal belief is that whatever you put in your organization, education to your own users, to your own employees is equally very important. And in this forum, I thought of sharing this, that what kind of phishing and document malwares are available. For example, you will have the mail which can come to your CEO or maybe, your CA, your chartered accountant or your CFO, that so much money and very legitimate email ID kind of stuff, and he will not be able to recognize. One of our, known person in Gurgaon, he kind of transferred the money. The bank account was given. He said, okay, I'm talking to my vendor, but that mail was not from his vendor. So those are the things which are happening. Can you imagine that this kind of document, which is saying text and enable macros. When you enable macros, it's a malware. So it's so simple, looks to be simple, but the malware gets planted. And after that, the work starts. So rather, somebody says 2015 was not great for the jobs and for the industry, but for them it was very good actually. They made millions and millions of dollars, rather billions of dollars actually they have made. And look at the 62% increase in the breaches last financial year. And then in spite of that, we still are lacking in securing our infrastructure. Because 62% have not increased security. That's the message. We are still not awakening. Somewhere we are still feeling weak to go back to our management and say that we need this. Why we need this? Because we are being looked upon the moment we go back with some kind of request. Oh God, there is no ROI. It's not like that. I think that's where the thinking and the thought process has to change. And this is something, again, I'm just talking about facts and figures. And from where, if you need any help, from vendors like us, that how you present to your board and what kind of data you, I think I am willingly come Number one. Number two, willingly supply you any kind of supporting data which you need to convince that this is what you need. This is the kind of solution that you need to have. What is that? Somebody talked about approach. I think fundamentally we believe in that there has to be approach. When you talk about products, that's secondary. There has to be approach, a security approach. What exactly you want to do? You have very layman's example, which is like, you have two security guards. One at the gate A and another is gate B. And both of them are not talking to each other. It does not make any sense. I think anything can happen from one gate, and then the gate B is not even aware of that what has happened. So it's time to have synchronized security, and that's the concept which we launched last year. That's pretty much required today, is that where we have endpoint security and we have network security, both products, both solutions need to talk to each other and give you a combined one single console MIS, a kind of reporting system which has to be there. Any vendor who comes back with such kind of approach, that means he's making a sense. He's not just talking about, okay, I give you network security, good bodybuilder kind of a security guard. That's it I have. What about the endpoint security, which is important in today's scenario when you are talking about IoT? So this is the approach what Sophos believes in. And we are talking about this approach where we have on the network side all kind of products, on the endpoint side all kind of products, and they talking to each other, and you have a central console is what taking care of, telling you what is that happening on endpoints, what's happening, how many malwares, detection, etc., etc. All kind of reports which you can customize as per your requirement. And security products, I think we have, again, I will not go through that what kind of, it covers up everything or anything, whether it's on servers or mobile or encryption, everything. Another thing which I wanted to introduce, definitely, this is we had our own CIO conference. I think Bhaskar was here. So he was talking about life. So we had this, and we had 110 CIOs, and we asked one question, that what is that which is worrying you in today's scenario? And the one answer was that ransomware today, is something which is not letting us sleep. And we were part of the Gartner event very recently, 2 months back. And I asked one of the customers who was visiting my stall, I said, so how are you, taking care of the ransomware? How are you protecting your network? He said, I have APT, anti-APT. I said, oh God. So I think it's our duty also to educate the customers and make them understand. So I think from that perspective, I thought of taking this topic and bringing it up, that what exactly you do. And we were the first one to launch the anti-ransomware, where we have the product called Intercept X. I think there are 3 things which primarily today people are worried about. Advanced malware, where they don't know. There is absolutely no signatures. You have visibility. There is no visibility which you are able to see what's happening. And at the same time, exploits. Today, when everything is happening via internet, I think you have so many common mode failures. So many. You don't even know that which vulnerability is existing, why it has not been patched. We don't know. So we need something which can actually, work as anti-exploit, and that's where this particular solution brings it up and put together all the 3 things. Whether it does root cause analysis, anti-ransomware, and the anti-exploit. And this is another solution which I think I was talking about, encryption, which is again synchronized encryption, where it is so easy to deploy that people they say, wow. This is the feeling which I have always, whenever I have talked about to our, and we have customers in India, like they have installation deployment on 60,000 nodes and 1 lakh nodes, those kind of customers. And I'm talking about again banking, because that's where it's being most widely used. But in today's scenario, if somebody asks me, do we need to go for encryption solution? I would say, yes, please do. It's very, very important in today's scenario. Network security, I think, whether you talk about the next generation firewall or the Wi-Fi or the email or the web, I think we have everything. I just want to repeat before I close that IDC, again, is talking about the same thing, that no other company is close to delivering this type of synchronized and integrated communication between endpoint and network security products. I think that's what IDC is talking about. I'm not talking about. Somebody says, oh, you have been talking and boasting about your products. Another thing which I want to talk about is that our products are quality products, and we are part of leadership quadrant of Gartners everywhere, whether endpoint or network security. And we have been there for the last 4 or 5 years now. Sophos, people who don't know about it, I think this last slide is that is a 31 years old company as of today. We have something around 550 million US dollar kind of a revenue. We are listed on London Stock Exchange, so you can go and check all these figures. We have 2,700 employees. And the best part is that in India, we have 900 plus employees. That's the best part actually. People come from outside and they say, hey guys, we have strong solution. What do you have in India? I have 19 branches in India. Sales and pre-sales, 19 branches. Our own people, not on contracts. We have, these are all, global figures, and just to tell you that IBM, Cisco, they are all our OEM partners. So that's what Sophos is all about in India. That's it from my side. But as a gift, before I conclude, I would like you to tell your friends, you may not use it, tell at least 5 your friends that use Sophos Home. It's a commercial grade product and it's free of cost. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Was I on time? Oh.
Thank you, Sunil. May I request Mr. K.K. Mahapatra to hand over a memento to Sunil Sharma. Thank you.